into the program. Now, this is a very special event for all society activities and CRCs. It is the time to recognize our members, our constituents, and it is always set up in a way that we can also have and enjoy the fellowship, but at the same time, we go through a process throughout the year, and we try to recognize, identify and recognize, going through the nomination of various individuals. It is a fact that this is a new region. This means that we haven't had the chance to go through the regular nomination and award recognition process, but despite the fact, over the past 2 days now, you have noticed that we have been doing some pieces of the award ceremonies, delivering or giving some awards and recognizing. Actually, we did 2 chapters yesterday. So that had to be moved out from this presentation because, to be honest with you, while I was preparing for this, it was kind of like in a whole package. So we still have, though, some of you that remain, and thank you very much for being here. Thank you very much for honoring those to be honored, because this is what it's all about. And especially when you go back to your chapters, please pay special attention to this process that the society has in terms of nominating and awarding those that deserve the recognition. People are sometimes humble and would not kind of like raise their hand and say, I deserve an award. We have that responsibility to identify them and actually encourage them to go through the process, because sometimes it's a nominating process that needs to be handled and taken care of. So look into what is necessary to recognize for certain awards, individuals, whether they qualify, and if they do, please then encourage them to go through the process. One basic baby step that they all need to follow is that they need to have their ASRE bio online. You'll be surprised how many people, even the ones that you consider experienced with years of service, qualifications to make a book with their bio, with their CV, that they have neglected. And when it comes up, time comes up, you just don't have enough, despite the good reputation, words and everything, to support the process. So be aware of what the requirements are, identify the different individuals in your chapter, in your country, that deserve this recognition, encourage them to go through the process and the system to provide for all this. So given that we have taken, this is part C of the awards ceremony, we still have some recognitions to give out, and as we have been doing, we need and we have recognized our chapters, because the chapters are the grassroots, are the foundations of this region. And we have intentionally kept some 3 of them now for this time. The others have already departed, so I would like to first call Professor Todorovic to receive this appreciation award on behalf of his chapter and every member. For the support for the new region, and of course, as we will see later on, for everything else that has happened in this CRC. Thank you, Branko, on behalf of all the Denver chapter members. is for Spain, of course. Andres, would you be kind? Thank you so much for all your support. And all the Spain chapter members, please communicate our gratitude and our sincere thank you for all their support. Now from Ireland, you can come and take this on behalf of Simeon. Thank you very much, and we look forward for your support and direct engagement involvement with years to come.
Thank you very much.
Now we have the two sections. I will try to see if our UK friends will carry them back home with them. And by the way, that's nice. I was talking and I thought I had a slide. And I said, what's wrong with this? I thought, can I get some help from someone? I see something, but it's not there. It's the next slide. So in addition,
I would be completely too tired
can I get the next?
Yeah,
Okay, I can tell you the content. It had at the lower end the two new sections, Scotland, UK. Yeah, there you go. And already we have a third one, so in northern Greece. So that's part of the good news of the continuous excitement that we see coming. Now, section chapters, there are some people and that have stood up over this short period in terms of their support. And one of them is Stephen, that has really been instrumental both at the section chapter, and they have been kind of like all of a sudden been merging and becoming one, but he continues to provide all this support. And a lot of times even crossing the borders down to South Africa. The same effort. Stephen, thank you very much for all this great effort and for what you have made happen in our region. And whatever you do, please keep on doing it. You're doing it great. Thank you. Great. Now, the way we started this region was on what we call very short notice. I reached out to every chapter in the region 2B, to leaders in every chapter, and I asked for their help, for their support, in order to identify the group of people that would be naive enough, now I can say it, to say, yes, I'll step up, I'll do it. Because we all knew, to be honest with you, I talked with them, and it's going to be tough. It's going to be tough because it's a new beginning. And as every new beginning, it has difficulties, but I promised them, and I think we delivered excitement, because it is something that you can navigate the way you want. You can really build or open a brand new chapter in the sense of a new activity, a new era for our region in terms of starting a new identity. Some of them come from nearby locations, some of them come from distant ones, and that's why we have spread them. And I kept doing and rearranging the preparation that I had. And maybe I missed some. For example, Zoltan finally received his because he had to depart, but we're still left with some. Maybe I don't have the pictures here, but I have your certificate of appreciation, so we're going to go through them and make sure you receive the recognition, although may not have the picture up there. So the first one I'm left with is, ladies first, Monica. Membership Promotion Regional Vice Chair. Monica, thank you so much. And actually, she has a short story to tell, because she has like, what, a month and a half ago that she stepped in. She's the youngest, probably, per se. You are the youngest in an event of the RVCs, meaning that our initial selection resigned, and she was the one to really step up on an even shorter notice to pick up the role. And thank you for doing this, and looking forward for your leadership on this very important regional activity. Zoltan, as I said, I gave it to him, but he's, yeah, well, okay. I'm confused. I thought I gave it to him because he was here this morning, but I kept it, so unfortunately I'll have to give it another time. Seraphine is here though, right? There you go. Thank you so much for taking care of our chapter technology transfer regional activities and all that you're going to be doing for our chapters. Thank you. It's okay. That's the picture that I'm missing, but I know this guy is not gonna. Where's Alex? He's not gonna take it wrong that his picture is not up there, because he's so tall and he stands tall with a smiling face all the time. Alexander. Our coordinator. And that's when you say, yeah. There you go. Thank you so much. Great. Thank you. For the nominating committee, we have to give credit, special credit, because they actually broke ground doing the first official business of the region well before in advance we got here, because nominations had to be completed from our region early in the fall. So what are we going to do? Our CRC, our meeting is in December, Christmas. So we challenged the society, staff, and they responded to support us. And the nominating committee from our region picked up the challenge to put together a web process, a web meeting, and completed all its business electronically. You, the chapters, responded and collaborated in all this perfectly, and we had one of the smoothest processes ever. And all that was done and handled under the cautious leadership and careful coordination, and a lot more, getting everybody organized. He put together a great training session electronically, and run electronically and physically here at the meeting so efficiently. And that's Eduardo Maldonado, the chair of our nominating committee.
so much. Thank you, Eduardo. Super.
Thank you.
Great job.
And in terms of our leadership, I have to say that a lot of times, if it wasn't for him, we probably would have faced a lot of problems. In a sense and in a way, our regional members council representative, who stands as RMCR, is one of the toughest roles in a region because he needs to represent the region, the members on members council, and make sure that all the work that they do and all the activities that go through him, he can channel and voice what we would like to happen, and of course he needs to bring back all the great things that the society is doing for its members. And you didn't have to think very hard to see who would best qualify for this, and he probably didn't think very hard to respond positively, because he's such a big guy that he realized that we have and we need people like him to support us and help us in this effort. And that's Dimitri. That has been and will be doing a great job in multiple roles, because not only an RMCR, but he is also the treasurer for the region, and I cannot
Before I accept this, I have to
list
say
the roles he
a
has.
couple of words. I never volunteered. He never asked me. Okay? Just to make it sure, you know? He allocates them. It's like in the Navy. You are volunteers. But he's my friend, and I'm glad to be with this family. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
The person we all missed during the CRC is our assistant regional chair, Ken. But as I said, he had the best reason. His family is expecting, his wife is expecting a newborn. So he's getting ready. He's, I think, if I'm not mistaken, in a countdown of now saying a few days. So we could all understand that he would not be in a position to leave his wife behind. Although, to be honest with you, when I was in Ireland for chartering the Ireland champion, I sensed some kind of like, we will see whether maybe, depending on how things will go, if I can come. I said, you must be kidding. I mean, it's going to be a great CRC. It's going to be our first CRC, but it's not like an hour's drive away from home to go. So, and I think he actually made the best decision to play it safe, but he communicated. Donald, did he talk with you? No, you talked, right? And he sent his best regards. He wanted to be here. He would have loved to be here, but I think we can all give him a or send him our best thoughts and wishes for the new arrival they expect of their family. Ken, thank you. Thank you for all that he has done in terms of the Ireland, UK activities and for the region.
Because I don't believe that. He owes me a beer. 2 years.
Oh, that's probably why, the reason, really, not to avoid the beer. Okay. We had the honor and the privilege to have our senior society officers. We had Bjarne Olsen, the president of ASRI, with us. He has left. So our appreciation to him yesterday, and I would like to call our general chair, CRC General Chair, Professor Todorovic, to have just a small gift to our distinguished guests. No, you're going to be giving and presenting our distinguished guest officers from the society with just something, a little something to read. Sila Hader, she is our resident-elect. Sila, thank you so much for coming and being here with us. And we sure look forward to your leadership next year.
I have to come back.
That's a commitment right now for the 49th Congress of KGH that the ASPRI President-to-be, Sila Hader, will be here again. Julia Keene, Professor Keene, she is Society Vice President. Julia, thank you so much for being with us and for all your input, guidance, and we look forward to hearing more about the great things that we managed to achieve during this meeting, and everything that you can provide us with in terms of feedback would be greatly appreciated. And we also had the pleasure, it's always a pleasure, to have Jeff here with us. He's the Executive Vice President. He represents 125 ASRE staff members, and on their behalf, please accept this with a warm thank you for all your help and support.
You promised to me that the first time you will use that and write excellent compliments letter to me.
Oh, absolutely. Letter's on its way. Okay. Thank you.
I hear one is left here, so I really don't know what to do. Who is the closest? I will give it to him.
So I'm so happy to pass by, so I get something that they didn't know what to do with. So let me show you what this is all about. It's just a very warm thank you that the host chapter, Daniel chapter, prepared.
Wow,
As a
very
warm
nice.
thank you and something to remember this event by. So
Write
thank
me
you.
that with your
Thank you. So the thing is, whenever you set up a regional conference, there's a lot of organizational issues and everything that need to be taken care of. And over the years, I had the pleasure well, actually, on a general note, I know Branko for a few decades. And the thing is, now, a lot of people say and call some others as mentors. I have said it, and he's my ASRE mentor. Way back, he challenged me with the idea of a chapter. I was an ASRE member, but I never thought of that being a possibility. And Branko, he was heavily, from those days involved in the society. And he said, Costa, why don't you think of establishing a chapter in Greece? I said, well, okay. And then I kind of like forgot, because I thought he was just making talk. And then next time we met, and I think it was the serious discussion that took place in Atlanta, relevant, that we were both there for an ASRAE meeting. I kind of like diagnosed the seriousness in all this, that he wasn't just saying it, he wasn't just talk, because he came back and said, what's happened? And that's what it takes a lot of times for making things, not just throw out a great idea or challenge someone, but follow up. And because with his authoritative posture and everything, he came back and said, okay, now what has happened? In short, he was expecting something from me. I said, well, maybe he really means it. And we started, actually, the journey ever since that, because I saw that he actually believed that I could do it, and then I started believing it. So it takes one guy to really believe on something and just transfer this to the other to make it happen, and it did happen. And as we progressed, the rest is history, we did it, and then I want to just jump a couple of decades and come to the times when, within region at large, the Danube chapter through Branco had been trying for several years to get the CRC within our area. Never managed. So, when it first came up that we got the green light to go ahead and gear up for the new region, one of the first things to consider, decide, was where we're going to have our first CRC. I didn't have a second to think about that because I knew the answer already. But, and we communicated, and he confirmed his willingness, and I'm so glad that he did take up and lived up to his promises saying, I want it, then there's the opportunity, take it, and he picked it up, he took it. And over the past few months, other regions have years to plan. We had just a few months. But you know the secret? I knew the secret. And he knew it, that's why he accepted. Like he said, he has been doing this for much bigger, we all experienced the size of the Congress, for 48 years. So he can close his eyes and kind of like do it. And that's what I was hoping, because that made everything a lot much easier. And of course, it made it easier because he also has great people, great support from the National Society, KGH, from the Danube chapter. And I was privileged also to work with a very professional gentleman, Vladan Galepovic, which we have to also recognize on behalf of the host committee, of all the volunteers, because at the end of the day, it is a collaborative effort. It needs a lot of people. But we were lucky because a lot of times when I was talking with Vladan, before I completed my sentence, he was able to say, I got it, I know what you're talking about, I'll take it from there. And that made my life so much easier. And that's very important to have. So on behalf of, or being the CRC General Chair, you only have this title for a few more hours, but you will go down in history as who was the first CRC General Chair?
Who is?
Who is? Keep it for something to be really proud by. So we'll have this certificate of appreciation. I this next time. So, if we can use this. So, okay, just give me a second while we work on some of the details. This is our certificate of appreciation to the General Chair, the guy who ran the show. And we thank him and we appreciate all his support. And you can just keep this.
Can you pull this? Pull it. Yes, it's hot. Great.
So, and to make it really something to remember by, Branko, we thank you so much for everything that you have done for us.
But you don't know the whole history. He didn't say the most important thing. When I was in Athens, he was flattering with one girl, and I understood she was speaking before me. It was a conference, and I thought that that was his wife because he was looking so, like me when I look in my Maria. And then everybody was surprised because they were not yet married. He still didn't have the courage to ask her for the hand. And then I helped. I said, Mrs. Ballaras, she was speaking just the similar things which I have now spoken. And everybody was surprised. Mrs. Ballaras, we didn't know that he is married. And then he had the courage. He asked her on my recommendation.
Yeah, he let the cat out of the box. So and I would like to also call Vlad here on the stage, representing all the volunteers. So Vlad, thank you very much. And on behalf of all the volunteers, thank you so much. Thank you, Vladimir. And this, I think, should be something that you can be proud to say for a job well done. This is something to remind all the good times. Thank you very much. And this pretty much concludes our awards. I would like, before we close, to have all the volunteers and please come up and all our guests so that we can take one picture and show our appreciation. I know there are more volunteers that were engaged in both, but on their behalf, please be here and share with us this great moment. And thank you very much for all your help.
I think we should turn this off.
That'll do it. Shut down.
Get this, get this in the picture because this is what it's all about. And I have to come into the picture. This is the best picture. This is the best picture. Thank you so much. Thank you for all the help, all the support. You're great. Thank you so much. And please give our great appreciation to all your friends that they spend so much time